Do you ever think to yourself, I have no idea what the I'm doing with my life?
Well, we don't either, but we've learned some things along the way that have gotten us a little bit closer to being functioning adults.
Or at least we've learned to fake it well enough.
Welcome to Insert Verb Here, your friendly neighborhood advice podcast by two girls who are just as clueless as you are.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Haley. And we are Verb.
Good morning, Haley, kind of.
I mean, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's not morning.
No, but I woke up really late.
That's true. So
Incredibly late.
way later than usual. I was surprised because I was texting you and I was like, she's normally up by now.
Yeah, I try to wake up between like 7 and 9. Like 9 sleeping in. Mm-hmm. This morning, it was...
like 11:30.
Yeah. Crazy.
I can't sleep in anymore. Like, my body naturally wakes up at, like, between 6:30 and 7 every single day. I don't need an alarm. I can't sleep in, like, at all.
That is the goal. Because I really want to wake up in the mornings. Like, if I woke up at 6 or 6:30, I'd wake up in the mornings and I'd go for a run. Mm-hmm. Then I'd have time to shower and then not be rushed to get ready for work and stuff.
Yeah.
But if I set my alarm, sleep Jordan and awake Jordan are two completely different people. And... sleep Jordan hears the alarm and it's like, shut up. Mm-hmm. I'm sleeping. And for some reason, I just cannot get out of bed. And when I have alarms, unless I know, like, something is happening, mm-hmm. like, oh, I have to wake up because I have this meeting, or I have to wake up because something exciting is happening.
Yeah.
Then sleep Jordan is like, okay, fine, we'll listen to
mm-hmm.
this alarm, but it's the last alarm possible. But if it's just like, I want to wake up because I want to do something for myself, my brain's like, you thought, and go back to bed.
I'm kind of glad it's worked out this way because I hate alarms.
Oh, yeah.
If I wake up to an alarm, it will ruin my mood.
Really? Your brother's the same way.
I can get the exact same amount of sleep every single day, and if one day I have an alarm, I will have a terrible day.
Huh.
It ruins my mood. So I'm glad that it worked out that way because it kind of set my life up in a way where I don't really do anything before like 9:30.
Yeah.
Which I never sleep in that late. For the most part, it's been
pretty okay. So, I feel like we need to address something. Mm-hmm. Our podcast name is Insert Verb Here. Mm-hmm. Our kind of company name is Verb. What does that mean?
The whole idea behind Verb is that, like, instead of just kind of sitting and accepting, the thing, like your mental illness, or like wishing things were better, taking action to overcome your mental illness and anxiety and depression and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that's literally, like, that's what Verb is based on,
mm-hmm. So what does taking action in your life mean to you, Haley Olds-Nixon?
To me... because I
Side note, I never know if to call you Haley Olds or Haley Nixon or Haley Olds-Nixon because you haven't legally gotten your name changed yet.
Just call me Nixon because...
just call me Nixon.
Call me Nixon.
Call me Nix.
Anywho.
So what does taking action in life mean to you?
Because I often fall into this trap of... I struggle with envy a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I'll have something I'm dealing with, mm-hmm. and I'll be very envious of other people who have overcome that problem, mm-hmm. but instead of doing something about it, a lot of the times I'll literally just sit and be upset about it all the time. So for me, it is about learning how to solve my problems and taking the steps that I need to take to grow and to better myself and to overcome the things in my life that I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. And that's what it means to me. And just... not waiting for anyone to give you permission to do it, to take action and do it for yourself.
That's good.
Yeah. What about you?
Not waiting for permission. That's really good. So I wrote down the whole little spiel. So I wrote down what it kind of means. And so taking action in life, to me, is the meaning of Verb. So one of our slogans of Verb, the company, is go try, go do, go live, or go do, go try, go live. That... to me means you can't live without doing. So taking action means living your life the way you want to. In school, I know I've mentioned it like in every single episode we've done so far, but apparently it was a much more important time in my life than I thought.
Yeah.
But in school, I went to performing arts school, so they always, the stereotype about performing arts schools are like, you stand and you're like, represent the color green. Mm-hmm. How does water move like air? Which is all accurate.
Yeah, like it's a stereotype, but it's true.
It's true. But also one of the questions that was asked by the director of our program, she asked us, where do you cast yourself in your life?
Ooh.
Are you the lead? Are you the supporting? Are you the background that has a couple lines? Or are you an extra that just observes what is happening and you don't really have a say? She said, think about that and get back to me. And at school, they had, they like to have one-on-one meetings with us every couple weeks or so just to see how we were doing. And she's like, and then in our meetings, we can talk about it. And I felt like I was the supporting actor in my life.
Really?
So I would have other people make decisions for me instead of me doing it because I didn't want to seem bitchy.
Yeah.
And being the lead doesn't mean you're bitchy or rude or stuck up. But for some reason, in my life, if I felt like I was being the leader of my life, that's how it would be.
That's how you thought you would be perceived by doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just sit back. And if I agree with the decision, I'll say yes. And that is, and it's not like I was consciously trying to sit back. And it's not like I was consciously saying, hey, if I take the lead of my life, I'm going to be this rude, stuck up person. But after thinking about it and talking about it, that's kind of what I figured out. And so I kind of realized taking action in life means going after something. It's finding out what you want to do and what makes your heart happy and actually doing it because you want that for your life, not because someone else wants that for your life.
100%.
So to me, that's what's taking action. And another kind of thing I go by in life is in high school, my senior year, we had a senior year high school graduation thing. So it was a theater banquet. We had a high school theater banquet. And they were honoring all the seniors. And my high school theater director ended up dying 2 months after this banquet. Wow. So this was the last thing she ever told me.
Wow.
So we were at the banquet. At the time, I wanted to be a nursing major. And I remember I was about to leave, or she was about to leave. It was wrapping up. And she grabbed my face. She grabbed my cheeks in her hands. And she held it. And she said, Jordan, whatever you do, just do something. I want to be able to look you up in 5 years and have good results show up. Be Googleable. And not famous, but just make something of your life. Do something. She said, do something. And that has always stuck with me. Yeah. Jordan, do something. And that is taking action. Yeah. So it's taken a couple years. And for a while I had a bunch of guilt, especially because she passed away right after, that I wasn't making her proud. I wasn't doing something.
Yeah.
I was kind of sitting back and letting life happen. So with the combination of being told that and then going to this performing arts school and having this director tell me or ask me where I see my life, the culmination of that just made me realize take action in your life. Grab your own life and lead it how you want to go.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't make you a bad person at all.
Yeah, because I feel like I've also kind of come to realization, but from the other angle, not of people telling me, but I have always struggled with people always wanting to tell me what to do and how to live my own life. And so I'm just a very non-confrontational, very peacekeeper kind of person. So I'll go along with it just because I don't want to start an argument or anything like that. And for so long, I would just give in to what other people wanted from me, what other people wanted, what thought was best for me. And I would be so miserable because I wasn't taking the lead of my own life. Exactly. So it just took so long of that and feeling I struggle now with any situation that I feel trapped in, even if it's real or in my head, if I feel trapped a lot of the times doing different things. And so it's taken me dealing with that for so long to finally be I'm tired of this. I want to be in control again. I want to be the one I want to be the one who's taking action, not letting someone else take action in my life.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree. And also back to your high school director. This is Googleable.
This is Googleable.
This is. So
this
you're making her proud.
Thank you. That's really sweet. I've had a lot of people in my life pass away, and for a while I thought I was cursed because anytime I left someone, they ended up passing away. So right after I graduated high school, my high school director died. Then I moved to a different state and worked in a health department. And right after I finished my internship at the health department, my boss at the health department died.
Oh no!
And then when I left Texas to go to work at the health department, my neighbor died. And then I went to community college, and then when I went to community college to go to performing arts school, my community college director died. And I was like, what is wrong? Why? Like, I can't leave anyone anymore. Like, what is happening? Like, for a long time, I thought I was cursed. And I was like, I can't get close to anyone because if I get close to anyone, then I leave them, they're going to die. But I know that's not true.
The cycle's broken.
Yeah, the cycle's broken.
This is wood.
I know.
It's really loud. Obviously, so, I mean, literally Verb is built around taking action for yourself. But the thing a lot of people struggle with is that it's really hard. It's easy to say, but it's really hard to actually
implement in your life.
So, like, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard, and what stops us from being able to take action?
I think it's because it's scary. Like, what if the action we're taking is wrong? What if we fail? And, like, what if people judge us at the end?
And I also think, too, it's scary because we have to look so deep inside ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, like, and it requires us to look at, like, ourselves objectively and to accept our flaws and
100%.
actually, like, because, you know, a lot of the times we'll just push them to the side and pretend like they're not there and they're not real. And it makes us actually have to look at ourselves and be like, oh, I have, like, XYZ that I really need to improve on. And so we don't want to look at ourselves in that way.
Yeah.
Especially because it is so deep and so vulnerable too. So I agree with you. It's very scary.
It's very scary. And it can also, taking action can mean change. And a lot of people don't like change. Sometimes they're very happy with how they are, with what's going on in their life. Some people can view that as settling. I don't necessarily see that as settling, but some people can. So taking action does mean a change will happen.
Yeah.
And some people
don't want
that.
I get that. Like, not from a self point, but just in general, like, I do struggle with that. Like, I like what's comfortable to me. Like, that's why I don't do a lot of new activities, because I'm very weird, because we talked about glass half empty, glass half full the other time. I tend to be a more negative person, so I don't see, like, when I'm trying a new activity, like, let's say it's like rock climbing, I don't see, like, oh, I could really enjoy this. It could be a really fun form of exercise. I could do it with friends and all this stuff. I see all the negatives to it. And so I stop myself from doing new things because...
Is that something you want to change and take action on to change?
Kind of.
She's like half there.
Like a little bit, but also, like, just not from a comfortable thing. I'm just very much, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And so I think there's
But how do you know if you don't like it if you've never tried it?
That's the thing. So I think I need to be more open to trying things, but I also don't think I should force myself if I don't enjoy it. I don't remember what my point was. You said something that made me think of that. Oh, doing what's comfortable. Like, a lot of people...
mean change,
yeah. Like, change. A lot of people are afraid of change because they like the comfortable little bubble that they are living in, you know? So they don't want to go outside of that and do something that is hard. And it is, you know, it is scary and requires a lot, and it takes a long time, too.
Yeah.
It's not... Like, that's the biggest thing with, like, mental health in general. It is not fast.
Yeah.
At all.
And no, it's a journey. It's a marathon.
It is a marathon.
It will be hard. Sometimes you'll feel like you're at the finish line, but you're never truly there. Not in a negative way.
No, but
it's just always room for
to grow.
Yeah. Another thing about taking action is it doesn't always have to be this huge monumental, I'm going to take action of my life. I'm not going to be afraid to try new things.
Yes.
Like in your case.
Yes.
It could be small, like coming home after a really long day and you're exhausted, but you have dirty dishes. And instead of leaving them and having them pile up, which will make you, especially if you struggle with mental health, make you feel like just another thing to do. It's going to weigh on you. It's bigger than just not doing dishes.
Yeah.
So taking that action of getting up to do the dishes, putting your clothes away, getting gas in your car, like those small things, taking the action to do it, those mini actions will create change and can lead to larger changes and actions that you can take in your life.
Yeah.
You like hold yourself responsible in a way and accountable.
Yeah.
And then it will, in a way, I guess, give you the courage to be able to do larger ones.
Yeah,
maybe?
that makes sense. Yeah, because I guess it must have been like last October, November. I was in this big slump with my career and not knowing what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go with my life and my career and everything that I was trying to, build for myself. And so I was just in this slump where I wasn't, like, I was doing, I'm a very creative person, and I don't think I did anything creative for, 6 months.
Oh, wow.
At all. I wouldn't, I would try to draw, and I would do it for, 5 minutes, and I was like, I literally cannot do anything.
Wow.
I was in such a slump, which sucked, because I'm a creative person. My job is creative, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I felt so out of control with my career, which is something that's very important to me. So what I did was I took action, and so instead of just sitting around and being a bum all day not really doing anything, I really focused on my skin and my health. And so I started eating healthier. I started working out more. I started doing a lot of research into those things, and then I really started learning about skincare and building a skincare routine for myself, fixing my hair, making it really healthy. And so that was what I did for me, was focus on myself physically, essentially, and my health and things like that. And so then when that all kind of passed and I was back into I had this really clear, actually it was joining Verb.
See, look at all the positive things
Look at all
Verb's
the
doing.
positive
Shameless plug into look what
ourselves.
Verb can do.
Look what we can do. But yeah, I was joining Verb that was this big this is what I need to be doing in my career. That if I hadn't dealt with all those things and I had been a slob for those 4, 5, 6 months, I wouldn't have been ready for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been in a mental in the right mindset to go into this new job and career and be productive and actually get a lot of things done. Through those couple months, even though I didn't feel like I was doing a lot, actually looking about it back on it, I was doing a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
And I really I would not have been ready, and we probably wouldn't be making this podcast if I hadn't have been ready.
Yeah.
When I joined.
Yeah.
So just the little things like that. So if you feel taking control of something big, like a career or something like that, relationship is too much, start small. Do something as I think I started with skincare, was the first one that I wanted to do. So I just started with that, learned about that, and then just added things as I kind of got more comfortable, and it all added up to this huge growth period in my life,
Yeah. Another thing, I'm going to go back to this.
Yeah.
Go back to school. But another thing that I felt like it wasn't aimed at me, but it was one of those things where the teacher says something and you're like, that speaks to my soul, And she said, a lot of people are scared of failure, but some of you are scared of success.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, that's me.
Really?
I'm scared of being successful. And so it took me a while to realize, in a way, I viewed success as a failure and tied it to my worth.
Really?
I felt like I wasn't deserving of being successful. So I would stop myself from taking action, and the action I wanted, because I felt like other people deserved it more than me. So why should I succeed in this task? Why should I used to be a swim teacher. This never happened. But why should I be the swim teacher of the year when people work just as hard, if not harder than me? And I also tied success to failure, because if people view you as successful, I felt like all I could do is fall and all I could do is fail. And I think, to me, that's another reason why it's hard, taking action, because eventually you will succeed.
Yes.
And when you do succeed, what comes next? And I think that's what stopped me for a long, long time. And I think potentially might still stop me. Because, I don't know, I feel like, in a way, all I'm going to do is, like, why do I deserve to be doing this podcast instead of someone else? Why do I deserve, blah, blah, blah? And I realize, like, I don't know, part of me is like, in the growth process, it's like, it's not a deserving moment. It's just how life has led you here,
That makes sense.
It doesn't make you more deserving or less deserving. And life is going to go up and down. So you just got to write it, I guess.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've never heard of anyone who's afraid of success before.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm a big fear of failure person, but like I've never heard of it on the other end. So that's actually really interesting.
Yeah. So Haley, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you feel like some people feel that taking action in your life or in their life or in someone's life is a form of a coping mechanism?
So I guess to answer that, we need to actually look at the definition of like what a coping mechanism is.
Okay.
So coping mechanisms are the strategies people often use in the face of stress and or trauma to help manage painful or difficult emotions. Coping mechanisms can help people adjust to stressful events while helping them maintain their emotional well-being. So, I mean, looking at it from that, I don't think that like taking action is like, oh, this is a specific type of coping mechanism. I think it literally, that is just what a coping mechanism is, but in a really healthy way, I feel like.
Interesting. Because before that, I looked at it as taking action for other people. Yes, that's a coping mechanism to like help them or save them and not necessarily yourself. Like I will help you in this situation. So for taking action in that way, I felt like it was a coping mechanism to not deal with your stress or your life, or like the mini actions I was talking about earlier, and like always sticking with mini actions, like always just doing the dishes or always blah, blah, blah. Like that I viewed as a coping mechanism instead of diving deeper to get to the root of things. But seeing that definition kind of changes that. That's interesting.
I do. I feel like it's the opposite. Like because obviously there are healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms. So like what you just said, like the mini ones and
which should always be are great, especially when you're starting out.
Yes,
but to start making changes in your life, you need to go a little deeper.
Yes, exactly. And so I see it as, because it's not I don't see it as a coping mechanism that you are either like hurting yourself or you're bottling up whatever's going on and you're just ignoring it to like just not feel the emotions and the stress and the things that are around it. To me, it's the opposite. It's you're taking the stressful situation and you're going deeper to make change.
Yeah.
So that's why I see it as like a kind of like a quote unquote good or healthy, a healthier way to cope with something, because it helps you to incite change in your life and to start going upwards.
Yeah.
It's
I agree. I feel like looking at it now, it's probably one of the healthiest coping mechanisms you could do. Some people turn to like drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people, for a while, like, I don't know if this really counts as a coping mechanism, but I would get in my car and drive. And that's not necessarily safe because car accidents happen. Yeah. It's not good for the environment, just wasting fuel. And it wasn't good for my wallet. Yeah. or on the other end, I would be out until like 3 or 4 in the morning going on drives to clear my head. Yeah. Instead of taking action and be like, why am I feeling this way? And working towards it and through it, I would just try to ignore it and literally drive away from it.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, I would cope by ignoring responsibilities. And so whether that's like, something personal or something like we have, like all of our friends are hanging out and I'm having a really hard or stressful time, instead of accepting the emotion and what I'm going through and the stress, and kind of using that to take action and make a change, I would shut down and then I would cancel everything. And I wouldn't go to whatever it is we were doing, or I won't do the dishes for the next week, because every time that I look, like, I think, oh, I have to do the dishes, but I'm going through this right now. But every time I look at the dishes, I like think of that moment.
Yeah.
And so I literally just shut down and I just avoid all responsibility, which obviously is not,
Can't do.
can't really do. So I see it like as like the healthiest way that I can think of to cope with whatever you're going through, because it does, obviously it is hard, but it does lead you in a more positive direction than the other methods that I can think of off the top of my head.
And this is taking action to better yourself.
Yes.
Obviously you can take actions in the wrong way, like blatantly, completely wrong decisions, wrong actions.
Yes.
We're talking about healthy ways
to better yourself and to help yourself to overcome,
get to a more mindful,
happy, healthy, mentally healthy place. Maybe physically healthy too. Yeah. Like,
I feel like the two are not mutually exclusive.
But yeah, because it is something that's like very important to me, and I feel like very important to Verb, and we've built the entire foundation of Verb on this
taking action.
I mean, that's literally
challenging yourself to take action. It's like challenging yourself to, like you said earlier, and like I said earlier, you see those dishes, every part of you wants to ignore that responsibility, but you have to own that that's your responsibility. Even if you live with other people, if you still live with your parents, if you live with a roommate and you're like, oh, those are, or you live with a spouse, or, you know, whoever. If you're like, oh, well, those are their dishes, they're not mine, so I'm not going to do them. Like, okay, great, but also take the action, take the responsibility, because then you could say you did it.
Yeah.
Every part of you was saying, no, I didn't want to do that. No, gosh, it would just be so much easier for me to shut out the world, lay in bed. It would be so much easier for me to just turn on the TV, shut it out. Because those little mini actions will lead, and I will say can, and potentially will lead to larger overall life changes, which I think will make you a happier and healthier person.
I completely agree. 100% agree.
So welcome to Verb, and finally getting the definition of it.
Verb.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're about.
Yeah, because we've talked about it a little bit on Instagram, but not very much. Yeah, take action in your life. And
take action.
Don't
be afraid of failure, and don't be afraid to constantly grow and constantly improve yourself.
And like, don't wait for anyone to give you permission to do it.
Be the leader of your life.
Don't be afraid to change.
Don't be afraid to change. Love yourself, love others. Make sure to check us out on social media at GotVerb or at our website, verbofficial.com. And send us your questions at askivhpod@gmail.com.
We post new podcast episodes every Monday, so subscribe to Insert Verb here so you can insert Verb into your daily routine.